It was 4:30 p.m. and the Beale Street corner in downtown Memphis was lively as always. Tourists going in and out of blues bars, street musicians playing songs, everyone focused on having fun. But the old man sitting on the corner, his voice had the power to stop everyone. David Washington was 68 years old. His hair was white, his beard long, his clothes worn but clean. In front of him a small hat with a few coins inside. And when he spoke, it was as if Morgan Freeman himself was speaking. In the beginning there was darkness. He would begin, with that deep, rich voice. But then came light, and with that light came hope. People passing by would stop. They'd look in amazement. This voice, this was the voice everyone knew. But how could this old homeless man speak like Morgan Freeman? Some would throw $1 in his hat and move on. Others would film and laugh. Look, homeless Morgan Freeman. They'd mock. But David didn't care. He just kept talking. Because this voice was his only talent, and his way to survive. Every man must choose his path. Some choose glory. Some choose service. I chose both, and paid the price. When he said these words, there was something in his eyes, pain, regret, and very deep exhaustion. Linda Hayes was a lawyer working downtown. She passed this corner every day going to work. She saw David every day but never stopped. Another street performer, she would think. But that Wednesday something was different. David was doing Morgan Freeman's monologue from Shawshank Redemption. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Linda stopped. This wasn't just imitation. This was real emotion, real pain. This man had a story. "Excuse me," she said, approaching. That was incredible. David raised his head. "Thank you, ma'am. Just trying to survive. Have you ever acted? Voice work?" David gave a bitter smile. "Long time ago, ma'am, different life." "What happened?" David remained silent for a long time. Then he began to speak with that deep voice. "Vietnam happened, ma'am. 1st Air Cavalry, 1968 to 1970. Came back different. PTSD, they call it now. Couldn't hold jobs. Lost family. Lost everything." Linda's heart tightened. "But your voice, this talent." "Voice is all I got left, ma'am. Learned it watching movies. Morgan Freeman was always my favorite. His voice, it has dignity." Just then, Police Officer Martinez approached. "Sir, we've talked about this. You can't stay here all day. You're blocking foot traffic." "Officer, he's not blocking anything," Linda said. "Ma'am, this is routine. We get complaints, loitering, panhandling." David started to get up. "It's okay, ma'am. I understand. I'll move along." But Linda had a plan forming in her mind. "Officer, what if he had permission? What if this was official?" "Official? Ma'am, this is street performing. What if it wasn't?" Linda took out her cell phone. She dialed a number, called Memphis Film Commission. She knew someone there. "Hi, Sarah, it's Linda. I need a favor. I found someone special." David and Officer Martinez listened in confusion. "Yes, voice work." "No, better than voice work. You need to hear this. Can you meet us? Beale Street corner." "Yes, now." She hung up and turned to David. "Will you wait here? Just 30 minutes?" David was surprised. "Ma'am, I don't understand. Trust me, please. Just 30 minutes. Officer Martinez was also curious. "Ma'am, what's going on?" Something that should have happened years ago. 20 minutes later, Sarah Williams from Memphis Film Commission arrived. A young, energetic woman. "Linda, what's this about?" "Just listen," Linda said. "David, would you do the Shawshank speech again?" David hesitated, but then he took that deep breath. "Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. These walls are funny. First you hate them, then you get used to them. Enough time passes, you get so you depend on them." Sarah Williams's mouth fell open. "My God, this is incredible. Where did you learn this?" "Movies, ma'am. Watched them in VA hospitals. Morgan Freeman, he helped me through dark times. His voice, it gave me peace." "David," Sarah said excitedly, "we're working on a documentary about Memphis veterans. We need a narrator, someone with gravitas, someone with soul." "Ma'am, I'm just a homeless man." "No, sir. You're an artist. You're exactly what we've been looking for." Even Officer Martinez was surprised. This street performer was really talented. "What kind of documentary?" David asked. "Memphis veterans' stories, their struggles, their sacrifices, their homecoming." David's eyes filled up. I could tell those stories because I lived them." "Exactly. You understand the pain, the loss, the hope. That's what we need." Linda was smiling. Her plan was working. "But ma'am, I'm not professional. David, talent doesn't care about your address. It cares about your heart. And at that moment, something completely unexpected happened. A black Mercedes turned the corner and slowed down. A familiar figure got out. Tall, white-haired, with that characteristic walk. Morgan Freeman. David froze. Linda forgot to breathe. Sarah Williams dropped her phone. "Excuse me," Morgan said in that deep, familiar voice. I couldn't help but notice the crowd. What's happening here? No one could speak. Memphis's famous resident Morgan Freeman was standing on the street corner. "Sir," Linda finally said, "this gentleman, he does the most incredible impressions of you." Morgan raised his eyebrows. He looked at David. "Is that so? Well, I'd like to hear that note." David was trembling with fear. In front of Morgan Freeman, he was going to imitate him. "Sir, I can't, not in front of you." "Son," Morgan said gently, "art is about sharing, not hiding. Please." David took a deep breath and began to speak. "I guess it comes down to a simple choice. Really, get busy living or get busy dying." Morgan's eyes lit up. "That's remarkable. Not just the voice, but the feeling, the understanding. What's your story, son?" "Sir, I'm David Washington, Vietnam veteran, 1st Air Cavalry." Morgan nodded. "Thank you for your service, David, and thank you for keeping my words alive." "Sir, your movies, they saved my life. When I was in VA hospitals, dark times, your voice gave me hope." Morgan's eyes filled up. "David, I want you to know something. Voice is a gift, but more than that, it's a responsibility. You've been given this gift for a reason." "Sir, I don't understand." "You understand pain. You understand hope, not just the voice but the soul behind it." Morgan took out his phone. "I'm calling my agent. I want you to audition for something, a documentary about Vietnam veterans. It needs someone who lived it, someone who understands." David couldn't believe it. "Sir, I'm homeless. I don't have—" "David, where you sleep doesn't define your talent. Your heart does." Sarah Williams stepped forward. "Mr. Freeman, actually, we were just discussing a project, Memphis Veterans documentary." "Even better," Morgan said. "David, would you be interested in narrating both?" Tears were streaming from David's eyes. Yes, sir. I'd be honored." "Good. Sarah, set it up." And David, "Yes, sir? I want you to know today isn't just about your voice. It's about your service, your sacrifice, your survival. That's the real story." That day, a miracle happened on Beale Street corner. A street performer became a professional narrator. But more importantly, a veteran finally found the respect he deserved. 6 months later, Voices of Memphis Vietnam Veterans Stories documentary was released, narrated by David Washington, and with Morgan Freeman's executive producer support. The documentary won an Emmy Award. David's life completely changed. He was now a professional voice actor. And most importantly, he was no longer homeless. In Morgan Freeman's office hangs a framed note he wrote to David. "David, you didn't just imitate my voice, you found your own. And in doing so, you reminded me why we tell stories, to give voice to the voiceless, to bring light to darkness, to prove that hope indeed is a good thing." Morgan. Today, David Washington lives in Memphis. He has a small apartment, and every day he does voiceover work. But once a week he returns to that same corner, not for money anymore, for other homeless veterans, to give them hope, by imitating Morgan Freeman's voice. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And now, those who hear these words, remember not just Morgan Freeman, but also David Washington. Because sometimes, the most beautiful voices come from the quietest places, and sometimes, the greatest talent is hidden in the most unexpected people. Morgan Freeman didn't just change one veteran's life that day. He reminded the whole world that everyone has a story, and every story deserves to be heard, with dignity, with respect, and with the voice it deserves.